day with the physicians where your health is our business. My name is Dr. Martina Agbere, your anchor on this program. Today we'll be discussing International Childhood Cancer Day. 15th of February every year is usually regarded as an International Childhood Cancer Day, where globally it is celebrated, campaigns go on to raise awareness for childhood cancer and the inequalities that exist, as well as showing support for children and young people living with and even beyond cancer. With me in the studio is our very delectable, very intelligent, hardworking, dedicated, the founder, CEO of the Children Living with Cancer Foundation. She's no other person than our very able Dr. Nneka Nwobbi. Welcome to our program.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martina.
Nice having you again.
Thank you for having me.
Every time we call on you, at least you answer us. We're really grateful.
From 2021, 2022, and 2023, the theme is through your hands. Through your hands, we've achieved so much. Through your hands, our children have, gotten treatments. Through your hands, our children have secured their health back. Through your hands, our facilities are, upgraded. Through your hands, so many things have come to happen, all for the good. So the theme for these past 3 years is through your hands.
So we can, in summary, we can say through your hands, just like something like support.
Yes.
So through the hands of everyone, support is like teamwork.
Yeah.
This one supporting, the other person supporting, and we're able to move this fight forward. Okay, so that has to do with the team. So why is it so important? Why is celebrating International Childhood Cancer Day, why is it so important?
The ICCD is basically a community thing, and the societies that cater for children who have cancer, as well as WHO, come together on this 15th of February, and in some countries for as long as 31st of March. So within this period, communities are actually encouraged to come forward to help fight the fight against childhood cancers. There are so many ways one can fight against childhood cancers. Okay. The awareness, promotion, allowing us into your facilities, your school, your company, your offices, your markets, to teach the fact that children have cancer, and that these children is not by their making, it's not their fault that they have cancer. Anybody and everybody can have cancer. So the ICCD is basically to help promote that fight against childhood cancer worldwide.
Okay. So how much support have you actually garnered in this aspect? Well, we talked at the beginning, we talked about collaborative work, people coming together. So how much support have you been able to get from people?
We've been on now for 20 years. This is our 20th year. So
are you serious?
Yes. So 2023 is makes us in the field for 20 years officially. Although we started 21 years ago, but we got registered 20 years ago. Okay. So we've been out in the field, and I must say that the support that we've garnered, throughout this period have been great. From little beginnings, trying to get help from one place or the other, the denials at first, and then the doubts, the abuse that you have come again, 419. How can you say that children have cancer? As a matter of fact, a pharmacist said to me, "Look, go back, change your proposal to HIV, and I will support you."
Are you serious?
Yes. He said because childhood cancers, they die. So I won't put my money where I'm sure that the children are going to die. And I'm like, yeah, even if they are going to die, let's help put them out of their misery. Let's let them die with some dignity. And they are dying because they are coming in late. As a pharmacist, you know that the drill is not, the drill is not just that they are coming in at stage 4. If from your own, you play your part, tell people that children have cancer, then maybe they will come in earlier, stage 1, we'll have so many survivors that are there.
Okay, now that the pharmacists have said that he probably would not want to support them because all he knows is that they die. I think he's speaking out of ignorance.
Yes.
But I want to now say, since he has said that, maybe we should just let our viewers know that children also have cancer. So what are the risk factors or what are the possible causes for children to having cancer?
You see, unlike adult cancer where you have cause and effect, it's not the same as in children. Okay. You know, it's not from lifestyle and all that, you know. And the one thing that all of us should know that there's no person that does not have cancer cell in them, you know. And then, of course, hereditary. So, like I said, it's not by the child's making, and most times it's not by the parents making either. You know, although we have some things like, you know, staying in radioactive place and ways that shouldn't actually fall on a child or on a pregnant woman, that can actually alter some of the genes, you know. So really, it's not by any child's making. What we actually preach is early detection, correct diagnosis, and prompt treatment. And then when we talk about early detection, that means that one must be aware that this is a possibility.
Okay.
And then if you know that it's a possibility and you check and it is there, that's not the end of the world. The child can still survive, you know. And then, of course, the diagnosis is something that is very, 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 very key, because if the wrong diagnosis is made, that means you are treating something that is not what is there. And then we're wasting the time, the money, effort, and because we are wasting time, it can metastasize and go to other parts of the body. Now, the accessibility to treatment is another to look at. You know, facilities do we have that actually cater for childhood cancers in every state? You know, it doesn't have to be in every local government, which is almost impossible.
Already you talked about access to health, availability. So what are the things that are actually responsible for this disparity? 80% to 20-25% is a whole lot.
The gap is too much. The gap is too much.
So maybe you'll be able to tell us, since you're on ground, you can tell us what is actually accountable for this.
The very first one is ignorance.
Okay.
Lack of awareness that children have cancer. The lack of political will, lack of, I think, summation of everything for me really is lack of love. That is what I believe, because when you have that love and you have the knowledge and you're keeping it to yourself, you know, that's not good. So the ignorance, the funds, you know, treating cancer is expensive. The time to treat cancer is not a month, a week, some days. It goes on to, at the minimum, 9 months to about 2 years, 3 years, depending on the kind of cancer. Now, of course, after treatment, that child still needs to be followed up, to be maintained, to make sure that it doesn't come back. Because sometimes a child that has had cancer may have a secondary cancer in future. So all these things are, you know. Then, of course, the funding, again, is very, very key. The parents of these children are very, very, not very, very young, but they are young adults, more often than not, who does not have savings to fall back on. And the expense of the treatment is huge. You know, you have to talk about the admission, you have to talk about the chemotherapy or radiotherapy or surgery, then you have to talk about investigation. Some investigations go as high as 350,000. You know, you talk about the PET scan, you talk about CT scan, ultrasound scan, MRIs. They are not cheap. You understand? Some tests would, you know, blow up somebody's savings. And then what now happens? Treatment is still there. You still need to pay for admission. You still need to pay for blood and blood products. And of course, when you're paying for blood and blood products, you have to pay for screening to make sure that there's no HIV or other viruses that are in the blood before one can be transfused with that blood. So all these things are part of the challenges that we'll have. Of course, the treatment centers are not that plenty. And so sometimes you have challenges with things like radiotherapy machines that may not be available in this center, they may be available in another center. The travel from one place to the other, leaving your zone to another place, the transportation, the hotel or accommodation that one would need to to have, unlike some other places where we even have like safe homes, in some countries you have a patient coming from, let's say, Ibadan, will have a safe home to stay in around the teaching, the hospital, environment, so that the parents can go there, freshen up, come back, and all that. Some people abroad would actually give of their time to drive a patient, and the father was so upset that I suggested that we investigate the child for leukemia.
Okay.
The man was really, really upset, and then when the child started treatment, he achieved remission and was discharged. And he never came back.
When you say he was upset that the diagnosis was made?
No. Upset that I should even mention leukemia for a child less than 3 years. It was like, this is how, unbaked doctors that don't know anything. How can you say that is leukemia not blood cancer? So how can you say that a child that is less than 3 years can have cancer? Who are you?
Dr. Nwobbi, please just hold it there, because when we come back, we'll talk more about ignorance on how people perceive things when you tell them that a person has this kind of disease condition. I think more of ignorance, so we'll talk about it when we come back. We need to keep a date with our viewers out there. So our viewers out there, we need to keep a date with the physicians. Let us know what you have to say. What support have you been rendering as an individual to the community, to the family, to anyone whom we have known or heard has cancer? Have you gone to the hospital once to go and support people? In what ways have you supported? In what ways have you brought your own means of actually encouraging people that have cancer? Welcome back. If you have just joined us, you're on to your regular program, The Physicians, where your health is our business. We've been discussing cancer, because we're talking about the International Childhood Cancer Day. So in the studio, Dr. Nneka Nwobbi, she is the founder of Children Living with Cancer Foundation. She's actually told us a whole lot about the foundation, what she's been doing, and we actually did give her some words of encouragement also. She talked about ignorance. A lot of people are actually ignorant. Before we went on break, she told us about the particular man who was actually upset that for her to have even suggested that the child has cancer, leukemia, which is cancer of the blood. Like, seriously? Let's hear more from what you have to say. Why would he even think that a child can't have cancer? Is it because he has never heard before, or is it just meant for probably adults?
When we started, after the child was discharged, the child went home and didn't come back until the day before he passed.
Oh.
Yes.
So he never took treatment?
No, he took treatments.
And went home?
Actually, so of course, the treatment you now continue.
Yes.
After because he was in the hospital for roughly about 3-4 months at that initial admission. Then after that, commenced chemotherapy and all that, and then the child, was discharged to come back every 3 weeks.
Okay.
But he didn't come back.
He didn't follow up?
Yes, because at that point, the parents had sold everything they had, down to their television. They sold everything, and the man said to me, like, look, he has other children, not only this child. There's rent to be paid. They need to feed. They need to go to school, amongst other things. So, and then that he was advised to go to church. So he took the child to church. And one of the medicines that he was given was a steroid. And of course, the steroid was making the boy chubby. And he felt that the boy was
getting better.
Okay. And so he called me the day that he came for admission at the children's emergency room. By the time I saw the child, went back to my station. The next day, on my way home to go and freshen up, coming for work, but I was on call that night. The child had passed. Time we were going to schools, because the parents would not want to hear that children have cancer. we're going to school with pamphlets, lecture notes, and give these lectures to these children. Take it home to your parents, and the teachers too, to be able to let people know that yes, there's a possibility that a child can get cancer.
Okay. So before I let you go, I want to just ask, because you talked about that man giving up, not continuing because of paucity of funds. So in what ways do you usually have support? For instance, subsidy from government? What do you advise? I want to. How do you think the government can, or people can support our government? What policies on to be able to help these children?
There is no at all, and unfortunately, I really hope that the government can take a look at what is going on. One of our biggest challenge really is loss of job from the parents, or the parents losing their job during treatments or after treatment, because they have to leave their job to cater for their child who is on admission. Like I said, you come in 2-3 months, 2-3 weeks, every 2-3 weeks for treatment. So when they do that, they lose days at work, and most employers would not stand for that. So we are appealing to the government to make sure that these parents have job security, so that even if at the end of that treatment they have something to fall back on. We even say, okay, fine, the days that they're not at work, don't pay those days, but at least let them have that job security, to fall back on. There are so many ways that the government can actually help, making sure that every child who comes for admission does not have to pay hospital bills, admission fee rather. The medicines, if they can subsidize it will go a long way. They can encourage Nigerian pharmaceutical companies to begin to make oncology drugs here in Nigeria. It would lessen the amount of money that one have to pay.
I know some countries do that.
Yeah,
they do. Their own.
Yes, India is one of the countries that actually fought very, very hard, because the other drugs were, they were importing drugs from America, from Switzerland, from the UK, from, and of course the cost is very, very high. We have some of the drugs that go up as high as 500,000, not for the children, in adults. All oncology drugs should be produced in Nigeria. Yes, people will say that it may not be very lucrative for the companies, because they may not have that large amount of people needing it. But then there are people who need it, so we should be able to cater for this group of people.
Okay. So talking about stigma.
Yeah, that's some parents would hide that their children have cancer, and then unfortunately, you see some schools, like I said, we used to go to schools. You see some schools not wanting us to come near them.
Even schools.
Yes, the head of school will say, no, I don't want you guys coming to talk to my students about childhood cancers, because
these are the educationists.
Yes, because the student, we don't want our children to feel that they is their fault, or start feeling any negative thoughts and all that.
That is very disheartening.
You understand? So, and then of course the school that these children go to, we need to go there to talk to them, teach them that this is what is happening with this child. This child needs so and so and so and so that the child is not made to feel, because sometimes, because they are losing classwork, they may be behind their peers. Another thing that we are working on is to try to see how we can get educationists come to the facilities to teach the children, so that while they are on admission, their education go on. So that they don't miss out on school. Except when they are very
you're talking about those on admission.
Yeah, those on admission. Yeah, because they are there for a while. Like I said, this young man was there for 3-4 months. So that 3-4 months, if he was old enough to go to school, that means he wouldn't have gone to school. You understand? And then we have some of the children who go blind, so they need to have special education. So all these things are things that I feel the government should take more note of, and be able, if it's one child, if it's your child, you will do everything possible to make sure that that child gets the best that the child can have. So let us see every child as our children, and then do the best that we can for these children.
Let us see every child as our children and do the best that we can to ensure they all survive. Thank you so much, Dr. Nneka Nwobbi, for coming on our program.
Thank you.
It's always a thing of delight having you school us on this. And of course, letting people know out there that children can also have cancer. Children they're not little adults, but they also have their own disease conditions.
Yes.
They also have cancers. Ignorance is no bliss. It is always very important to learn. If you hear something or you don't know about it, ask questions. So I think I want to just say thank you again for coming on our program. And when we need you again, we'll also call on you. Please do honor our invitation.
We'll definitely come.
And to our
Thank
viewers
you.
out there, I'm sure you've heard it all from our very delectable guest, Dr. Nneka Nwobbi, who has schooled us on childhood cancers. The reason why we should be able to help to support is a whole lot. It's a pipe dream for families. We need your support. In any way you can do that, please do not stay back. Support the Childhood Cancer Foundation. Support all of them. In whatever way you can assist, it is very, very important that you help them. They can't do it alone. Families can't do it alone. Do not even give negative energy. Don't begin to tell them it is not possible. It's not in my family. If you hear of a family that has the cancer, please do support and don't give any negative remark. If you can't give a positive remark, please don't say anything, because they are going through a lot of trauma, they are going through a lot of stress, and they need the support. On this note, I want to say thank you again for keeping a date with us. Do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. If you want to be part of this program, our website is up and running. Just go there and complete the form. They will invite you to be part of us here. My name remains Dr. Martina Agberie. Till next time, stay blessed.
Hello, my name is Dr. Mrs. Nneka Nwobbi. I'm the founder of Children Living with Cancer Foundation. I watch the physicians, even though I'm a doctor, but there's a lot to be learned from watching the physicians. For your health and that of your loved ones, continue to watch the physicians. Thank you.